guys, Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia, and I'd like to welcome you to our October Christmas Stampathon 2020 challenge. Now this is our last official challenge of the year, and for October we are using our scraps. So all those scraps you've accumulated participating in the Christmas Stampathon, or even just in your normal everyday Christmas crafting that you've done to date, gather them together and make some cards. Now I have gathered together my brightly gleaming paper here, which is copper foiled. I've grabbed some of my copper foil scraps as well, so you can see these are well and truly scraps. I have paired it here in my final card. I've made a herringbone pattern that I'm going to show you today, and I've paired it with the For Onto Us sentiment cut with the Ornate layers dies. So I've kept it super simple and just used our copper star designer embellishments to finish the card. So let's pop these away. I have done a teensy bit of preparation to start off with, and I'm going to bring it in here. I have, and I'll keep our card here in the picture. I'll show you, I'll see if I can tilt this in the light. I have covered this piece of cardstock. It can be any piece. And I'm totally stuck to it. I just happen to have a spare piece of Berry Vanilla, and it is there. I have covered it with our Stampin' Seal, another really good product you could use to cover the background is our adhesive sheets, which would mean the whole background would be adhesive. Now I've just got it here on my silicone mat just to protect, just so we don't stick to everything. So how I start this herringbone pattern is, it's really not as hard as you would think. So I want one side shorter than the other, and I'll show you one of my other cards as to why. This one I did fairly centered, and you can't really see my joints all the way along. It's being covered by the sentiment. So I'm going to be a touch more mindful and put my joins a little further up. So that's where I want to start, on an angle. And then I want to bring my opposing piece, and now that I've popped that down, I'm going to work, even though it's going to be a landscape card, I will, maybe I need to go this way and not get myself super stuck to it, but hey, that's half of the crafting fun. So I just want to butt my next pattern paper up and scooch that along. I'm going to take my next pattern. So what you want to be doing, I might flip that over so the mossy meadow doesn't hit up against the mossy meadow. And what you want to do is make sure you're butting these up completely against each other, so there aren't so many joins all the way along. Okay, so these longer pieces that are popping off, I can certainly snip those off and use them later. So if I run out of pieces, which I may well do, I'll have plenty of offcuts to finish. So what I am just doing here, just as my own design choice, I'm alternating the foiled pieces, which, as I said before, is copper foil and our plain pieces. So all this designer series paper has two sides. Now which one's this one? That's this one. Okay. So, and I'm also looking for some sizes of pieces that makes perfect use and there's not much wastage. Okay, so I need a tinsy bit here, which that will go really, really nicely right there. And I've got these two separated, or thinking. I might use this piece because then I've used the same piece on a different orientation. And then I'll use this piece on a separate orientation. It's just all about thinking and working out what you want to do. I'm going to leave this corner, and then so you can see I've got my herringbone, and now I'm going to work on the bottom half. So you can build this however you wish. This is just how I chose to build mine. So I basically want to, so this whole piece is going to start here and go all the way up. Do I have a long enough piece? I don't think I do. I may have to pop into my bag of goodies here. This might be a bit longer video. These are all my scraps, and I just want making some choices here. I think what I want to do is go into what am I going to do here? I'm trying to alternate my pieces. Now what's on the back of this? I'll cut this one off and we'll see if this one is long enough to do what we want to do. And I cannot find my paper snips. They have totally disappeared on me. The joys of losing things on your craft desk, hey? Okay, so all I want to do is snip this off, and I will just grab a little trimmer here and I will square up an end. So this is all part of getting these scraps used, is creating some smaller scraps. And I still don't think, yes, no, this piece isn't long enough. Right, grab the big paper. Oh, craft lunches galore here in the Woodbridge craft room. And now I've lost my trimmer, would you believe it? Oh, it's been an afternoon. I am pre-making this video for you girls, so I will say it's been a bit of a day, and that's okay. So as you can see, this is still a scrap of paper. It's just a larger scrap. I did use all my very small scraps already. I think I'm going to be cutting a fair few more scraps, but that's okay. That's okay. So what we can do, well actually this piece isn't put on in the best spot because I wanted you to see this video in real time and enjoy watching me try and put this together. I don't know if it's an enjoyment, but hey, this is what you've got. So I hope many of you have enjoyed participating in the Christmas Stampathon challenge, Christmas Stampathon in 2020. I have certainly enjoyed this this year's challenges. There will be a few changes for next year. They are a bit exciting. So there, yeah, look out for those changes. Not changes, just exciting bits happening next year. Now, another great way of using these scraps is literally just doing it in strips. I just wanted to show you a way you can do it using this different kind of pattern. Just butt that up. I like using the copper foil because it does just create a point of difference and a place where you can have, so if I use this piece just there, it's a nice triangle and covers that up. Then if I use this holly piece here in this corner, that covers that corner up. And now all we have to do is trim. So I only had to cut one extra, oh no, and we've got a teensy bit up here that I think I will pop this piece onto. So it's a nice mix of our patterns and our foils, and then just our plain foil as well. So just to trim it up, flip it over. I am going to grab my long handled scissors to make this easier. And I do have some smaller pieces of scrap that a lot of these offcuts will be perfect on. So you just want to use your scrap cardstock, and this is just smaller than a card front, as your guide for trimming. And then I will pop these aside and I can use them all again. So some of these pieces are actually going on to card number 4 because they were offcuts from their first card. Then I have cut most of these pieces for a second card, and they've made it onto this third card, and then we'll be going to a fourth card. So scraps can be really economical and go a really, really long way. I know I did consider making 4 separate cards. Your 4 cards for this month's challenge do not need to be the same. Okay, so I am just going to scoot these off to the side. It's all sticking to the, I'll keep this one and get rid of these 2 if they want to come off my silica mat. Okay, scooch all this out of frame, so because we're totally finished with that. And now we have, oh, did I have a bit fall off here? I must have. I do wonder if this, no, that piece is not going to fit. I did just have a piece fall off, and I just worked out which piece it is. I will just add a titch of extra glue, just a titch. Get rid of my glue goober. This is really real-time video. Normally I'm a titch more prepared, but this is a bit of a free flow style of card, and my glue really doesn't want to run today. Oh, that's because I really do have a glue goober in there. Aha, all clear now. Okay, just a drop of glue. That was probably too much, so I'll just bring back in my silica mat and I will piece Just trying to work out, I must have gone this way. And oh, how did that piece go on? Do you know what? We will just stick it down and then we'll trim it off, because that's a perfect piece for that spot. So we'll let that dry just off to the side and we will look at our sentiment. So I have a piece of Very Vanilla that I have cut with the Ornate Layers dies, and we have our For Onto Us stamp set, and I have used Sharing With You, the Glory, Wonder and the Miracle of the Holy Season. This stamp set is very much based on our Christmas carols, as well as being slightly religious, which is good, because we all have friends who like to celebrate the Christmas season in that way. So I haven't spoken to you about the colours we have used on this, used in this paper. The colours are Night of Navy, Mossy Meadow, Pretty Peacock, which is one we're using, and Very Vanilla, as well as the copper, of course. So I have just grabbed the Pretty Peacock because we're going to be using a Night of Navy card base, and we are just going to go for it and stamp this down and hope for the best. You can certainly use a Stamparatus, but it's not perfectly straight, but it's handmade and I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to pop that open ink pad to the side, deal with it later. And I do want to pop probably about 4 dimensionals on the back of here and adhere it to our card base and then add our embellishments. So if you wanted to make lots of these cards and make it super simple, you don't have to do the herringbone pattern. You could pop them vertically, horizontally on an angle and just slap them on there and get your card made. So I just wanted to show you something a bit different, using the same supplies but just in a pattern that's I know it's a classic pattern, herringbone. If you were my bone folder, you would be hiding just over here. There is so much paper to the side of me, girls and guys. So I would love to hear in the comments of my video if you have participated in the Christmas Stampathon 2020 this year. We've certainly enjoyed looking at all the inspiration, and you guys have inspired us as much as we hope you've inspired others. So like we all inspired each other. So next month there will be a challenge, but it won't necessarily involve making cards. So keep your eyes peeled. Now this scrap challenge will be due on the 25th of November, which is 1 month before Christmas. It's getting all a bit scary that we are so close to Christmas, but we really do hope that you participating in this challenge, even if it's just been a couple of times, you feel a little bit more prepared, that you have some cards and possibly some tags at the ready to give family, friends, acquaintances, to wish them a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and even thank them for things they have done throughout the year, because it has certainly been a year. So that is adhered directly down to the card base. Just taking the backing off our Stampin dimensionals. Now, if you would like to purchase anything you've seen in today's video, I do have a link in the description box below that you can use to go to my shop. So just you can pop this anywhere. I just like to pop it on the bottom, and then you can see the seam of joins that I have created. So just taking my two last star embellishments on this sheet. Oh, I think I'm better to use my scissors. These ones are a little easier to pick up than some of our other embellishments. Maybe except for when they stick to the packaging. So just to bring the copper into the sentiment and to keep our star pattern going, I have popped them one at the top, one at the bottom, just like that. And I will show you another pattern that I created. So I've made 3 of the same design, and I have done one slightly differently. I've used, this was literally just grabbing a scrap out of my scraps. I've got a scrap pocket, and I layered it up, and then I hand cut my sentiment, and that created the card. So let's just pop these like this. You've seen my 4 cards. They're my 2 designs. I've used the Ornate layers dies. I've used the For Onto Us embellishment, the For Onto Us stamp set, and the star embellishments. I really hope to see you over on the Facebook group, and for you to join in using up your scraps, whether you make 4 different cards or 4 similar or identical cards. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you soon. Bye.